You've done the new year, new me every year for the last 10 years, but nothing's ever stuck. There's 3 unconventional things that you gotta do in order to make that a reality. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Kettlebell Guys podcast. My name is Coach Grant Anderson at Kettlebell Grant on IG. If you follow me there, if you don't follow me there, shoot me a follow. Today, I wanted to go over the top 3 things that you need to do if you are trying to lose weight. And this could be top 3 things that you need to do if you are just trying to get in shape, no matter what that looks like for you. Whether that's trying to lose weight, trying to drop body fat percentage, trying to get strong. Usually it means being able to look in the mirror and be really happy, confident, proud of the guy that's staring back at you. All right. So there's 3 things, 3 unconventional things that you got to do in order to make that a reality. All right. 2 of them are going to be mindset based, and 1 of them is going to be tactical. So we're going to start with the first 2, which are going to be mindset based. Number 1, you have to be willing to tell yourself the truth. And I think what that means is it means you have to be willing to tell yourself the truth in the beginning. That number 1, you ultimately, this should be a priority to you. You want this to be a priority to you. It is important enough for it to be a priority to you. And you have to tell yourself the truth that you are not where you want to be. And there is a version of you that is better than where you are now. There is a version of you that is healthier, that is fitter, that has more energy, that is a better partner to your wife or your partner. It is a better father to your kids. It is a better coworker to the people that you work with. It is a better leader to the people that you lead. If you own a business or if you are in a leadership or management position, you have to be able to tell yourself the truth that a healthier version of me would be a better version for everyone else around me. So that's number 1. I think that a lot of times guys, they almost get there. They like inch up to the line of being able to tell themselves the truth, but they never fully tell themselves the truth. They never fully, truly tell themselves the truth and accept it as the absolute reality that my life would be so much better if I was in shape, if I was healthier. Now, there's a second part of that about that, and it's the fact of, okay, that's when you get started, right? Is the idea of telling yourself the truth once you are starting this process or getting started in this process. And then from there, you have to be willing to tell yourself the truth every single day of the process or of the journey that you're on. And being able to say, is what I'm doing objectively producing the outcome that I want? And what that means, so for instance, let me give you a hack, a tactical hack. When guys come into our program at KT, if they need to lose weight, well, one of the things that they're going to do inside of KT is they're going to weigh themselves every day. Every day. That it's a non-negotiable part of our program because you're trying to lose weight. It's a goal. So we're going to track the data that we're trying to change, that we're objectively trying to fix, to bring down. And you don't know if something's working unless you objectively track what you're trying to change. And so you have to be able to drop your emotions and drop the emotions that come with weight going up and weight going down and something spikes and the ability to just drop emotions, put blinders on, do the work, track the outcome of that work to be able to decide and tell yourself the truth. Is the work that I'm doing producing the outcome that I want? And I think that's one of the hardest things for guys to be able to stay in and tell themselves the truth around, especially when they're trying to create some real objective body composition changes. Okay. So that's number 1. Is you have to have the ability to tell yourself the truth, not only in the beginning, but then throughout every day throughout the process. Is telling yourself the truth that what I'm doing is actually working or not working. And if it's not working, well, then you got to change it, or you have to be able to do what is number 2 in my series here of the 3 things you need, which is you have to have the courage to do something different. You have to have the courage to take action and actually change the things that you want to change. So step number 1 is telling yourself the truth. Step number 2 is having the courage to make the changes that you know you need to make in order to really go after the health that you want. And I would say just in general is to have the courage to be able to paint that ultimate picture that you want for your health. Paint that ultimate picture, that vision of where you want to be body-wise, health-wise, strength-wise. What do you want to see in the mirror? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be able to have the physical capability to be able to do? And then have the courage to say, I'm going to be the guy who goes and figures out exactly the work that has to get done and then executes that work and stays with it and has the courage to do the work long enough to become the guy who can deserve the results that he ultimately wants. And that's, I think, a really hard thing. I think even for guys, I think it's just hard in general for us as men to be able to really have the courage to state what we truly want. Because I think so much in society kind of knocks us down and says, well, that's good enough. You already lost 50 pounds. You don't need to lose another 20, 30, 40. It would be kind of more a nice to have rather than you need to have. Well, that's a bunch of BS. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with what you want. And so you have to be able to have the courage to state, this is exactly what I want my life to look like from a health perspective, from a body perspective. This is exactly how I want to feel when I look in the mirror. This is exactly how I want to feel when I go to the beach next summer and I'm going to take my shirt off or I'm going to go to the pool. This is exactly how I want to feel when I play with my kids. I want to feel this way. I want to have this amount of energy. I want to be this strong. I want to have this body composition. So many guys settle for good enough. They settle for it's almost there. I've lost 20 pounds or 30 pounds. It's okay. You got to have the courage to state what you truly want. You got to have the courage to be able to paint that vision. After you tell yourself the truth, you give yourself the permission to want it, then you got to have the courage to actually paint the vision, go figure out the work that has to get done, and then go have the courage to do the work. And on top of that, one thing I've said in other podcasts before, and I think it's important to say again, is to have the courage to let everyone else know in your life that you've made a decision and that you've prioritized this. That this is how you want your health to be. This is how you want this body composition. You want this outcome. Because I can't tell you how many times we get guys who come into Kettlebell Transformation, they come into our world, they hop on a call with us and they're thinking about joining Kettlebell Transformation. But then they paint this beautiful picture of where they want to be from a health perspective. And then they get to the end and they're a little bit scared of the investment they got to make. It's more than they expected. And that courage that they had about, I'm going to go, this is 10 out of 10. I'm going to go achieve this. It starts to waver. They start to waver around, do I really have the ability to really invest in myself? And do I really have the ability to show up and do the work? And do I really have the ability to go the distance? They start to waver. And so, and then we'll hear things like, I got to make sure I talk to my wife. And a lot of times I think it's not from every wife I know would be supportive of our guys. They would be supportive of, if this is the vision that you're going to paint for your health, if this is the vision for where you want to be, if this is truly important to you, if you truly believe that you getting in shape and you being where you want to be from a body comp and health wise, if you think that that's going to impact our family in all these positive ways, which she could probably see that vision as well, what wife is not going to be supportive of that? What wife is not going to be, well, if you're 110% in, well, then I'm 110% in. I know a lot of wives that would do the Matthew McConaughey. Well, if you're in it, don't half-ass it. Because I think that's the other big thing for guys is they have to, it's like their own individual, like having the courage that they truly can paint the picture of where they want to be and then go after it and do the work. But it's the courage to be able to say to everyone else in their life, say to their partner who's potentially been with them on this maybe unhealthy journey that they've had the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And so maybe you've both been on this unhealthy journey. And now you're attempting to approach that partner and say, this is what I want for my life. This is how I believe it would benefit us. This is how I believe it would benefit our family, how it would benefit our kids. And you have to have the courage to go state that to them, that this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to go do. And it can be challenging and it can be hard and it can be scary to take that to a partner when maybe you've started and stopped many times in the past. Maybe you've never quite fully committed in the past. Maybe you've started different workout plans hundreds of times. Maybe you've lost 10 pounds. You've done the new year, new me every year for the last 10 years, but nothing's ever stuck. And so it could be normal for someone in your life to, when you come to them and you say, I really want to make this a priority, for them to doubt you. That could be normal. And that's when at a certain point, guys have to have the courage to draw the line in the sand that it's actually like, this is the last time. This is it. I need to go get the help, the structure, the accountability that I need in order to make this a reality. And so you have to have the courage to paint that vision to your partner, to your family, to your friends, to everyone around you, to be able to state to them that this is who I am now. It's just like, I need to do this because I believe the benefit outweighs the cost. I believe the benefit outweighs, the time and energy that I'm going to put into it. So that's number one, is tell yourself the truth at the beginning and throughout the entire process. Number two is to have the courage to be able to paint the picture of what you truly want, figure out the work, have the courage to go do the work, have the courage to tell everyone in your life. And I mean, tell them. You're not looking for permission from anybody. You already gave yourself permission. You don't need permission from anyone. Tell them, have the courage to tell them that this is who I am now. This is what I do. And show them by your actions. Don't just tell them, show them by your actions. So tell yourself the truth, have the courage to go after it. And then number three, I told you this is going to be a tactical one. Number three, I tell this to every guy. I say, listen, you become a client of ours or not, but if you're looking at getting in shape with kettlebells and you're trying to get in shape, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to change your body composition, and you're trying to do it in a way where you can maintain the results for life. You're trying to do it in a way where a lot of guys listen to this, got to lose 20, 30, 40, 50 plus pounds. And maybe you've lost and gained weight in the past. You've lost and gained weight many times. Well, number three is for you. Number three is you have to get stronger. You have to get strong. It is the single key differentiator for the guys who are inside of Kettlebell Transformation than any other program that I see, or any other program that when a guy comes to KT tells me that he's done in the past that didn't ultimately stick for them. They did not put in the time, put in the effort, and take the systematic steps for them to get stronger. And let me illuminate this for you. We had a guy, and you've probably heard us talk about him, our guy who's lost 160 plus pounds. His name's Mark. And Mark talked about this on his podcast, his one-on-one podcast with us. Before he came to KT many years ago, more than 3 years ago now, before he came to KT, he had lost 100 pounds. And he did it through what he claimed was more unsustainable dieting and more high intensity type workouts. And then over the course of X amount of months, he gained that 100 pounds back. Then Mark came to Kettlebell Transformation, and he had the courage to tell himself the truth that he wasn't where he wanted to be, even though he had tried and had some success in the past. He had lost weight in the past, but then he had gained it all back. So he had dealt with the feelings of, boy, I already lost the weight and I put it all back. So he had the courage to tell himself the truth, to have the courage to tell his wife that he needed to do something about it. And then he had the courage to come to KT and have us lay out a plan, give him accountability, give him structure, give him a little bit more sustainability. But then the biggest difference for Mark was he started down this journey of getting stronger. He started with like 30, 40 pound bells, I believe. And over the course of about 17 months, he lost over 160 pounds. I think at his lowest, he had lost 166 pounds. And the thing about Mark is now he's maintained those results for almost a year. He's been he went from 345 to right around 190. And he's maintained that for almost a year. And I can tell you that one of the biggest differences, outside of him being within a structure that finally gave him the ability to be successful and to start creating momentum and traction, true traction in the right direction, one of the biggest pieces of that was that he got strong. He went from using 30-ish pound bells to routinely being able to throw around 106 pound bells, 88, 97, 106 pound bells. And the guy does that routinely every week, 4 days a week. Now, what happened for Mark was now instead of 4 days a week, he's training with a 30 pound bell, 4 days a week, he's training with a 106 pound bell. And he's able to squeeze just that much more juice out of every individual session than he used to do 3-4 years ago. And so now it's so easy for Mark to have his metabolism be at such a high rate and continue to work for him rather than against him, At Mark, at this point, I looked at his calories the other day. He was eating like 3,600 calories a day. It's damn near impossible for Mark to gain weight because he's able to train with heavy bells every week. And his ability to train with heavy bells every week keeps his body in burning mode. It keeps his metabolism at an all-time high. And so for the guys listening to this who have kettlebells and you've had experience and you've got that 20 pound, that 30 pound, that 35 pound bell, 40 pound bell at home, and you've maybe done some workouts with it, you've done some swings with it, but you've never seen the process or the progress that you've been after. You've never seen the weight loss. You've never seen the consistent results. Outside of telling yourself the truth and having the courage to go all in on it, one of your biggest gaps, your biggest missing pieces is you gotta get stronger. You have to get stronger. It's like the first question I ask guys when they come to KT. I was like, you'd be okay if you got ridiculously strong, right? And I've had pretty much every person except for one time, a guy asked me, well, why do I need to be strong? I was kind of taken aback by it. Pretty much every guy has been like, yeah, I'm okay with getting strong. Well, I can tell you right now that it is the missing key for most guys to be able to change their body composition, their body fat percentage, and then have it be easy for them to keep it off. That's the key. It's like the linchpin of the process for our guys inside of kettlebell transformation. And so if you're listening to this, you got to get stronger. You got to get to a point where you can swing an 88, 97, 106 pound kettlebell, do an 88, 97, 106 pound Turkish get up, match the 50, 60, 70 pound bells. You got to get to that point because if you can, and anyone who understands getting strong with bells, it's not like you're going to be struggling to use the weight. If you adapt slowly over time, it's going to be the same feeling as you train with a 30, 40 pound bell right now. You're just going to be swinging a heavier bell. And so if you want to make it easy to maintain, you want to really change your body comp and then make it easy to maintain, that's your key. You got to get stronger. Now, the process of losing the weight and body fat, obviously your nutrition usually has to change. Usually your physical activity in general has to change. There's a lot of stuff that has to change in order to get there. But along the way, step by step, automatically, your body has to adapt and eventually get to a point where it's a lot stronger. That's what makes it so that you can actually keep the results that you have. Make it easy to maintain the rest of your life. That's the key. So just to recap, number one, you got to tell yourself the truth. Number two, you got to have the courage to go all in. Those could kind of be interchangeable. You could maybe have the courage first and then be able to tell yourself the truth all throughout the process. But either way, tell yourself the truth. Don't BS yourself. You spend your entire freaking life BSing yourself every year, going through this same cycle of starting and stopping and never truly going where you want to go. And you got to have the courage to paint the picture of where you want to go and then have the courage to want to become the man who does the work consistently to make that end outcome a reality. And have the courage to be able to step up and make sure everyone in your family and your friend group and your group of people at your job or your business step up and have the courage to make sure they all know about your new priority in life, about how this is just what you do. And then number three, you got to get stronger. You got to get stronger. I mean, if you want to make it easy to maintain the results, that's what makes it easy. Get stronger. If you want to know what exercise to get stronger in, go a couple podcasts back. I break down the system. We talk a lot about the exercises that you have to do, but it's just a key. And I mean, objectively get stronger, like objectively use heavier bells. Like, so if you're a guy who's been using 20, 30 pound kettlebells, that's great. That's a good starting point. But you got to systematically level up to the 50, the 70, the 88, the 106. And if you don't know how to do that, then come to KT, then check out Kettlebell Transformation because it's what we do at KT. All right. All right, y'all. I hope that makes sense. I appreciate you all for listening. I hope you're having a fantastic day, fantastic week. And wherever you're at in your own journey, I am rooting for you because the results that you're after, the vision of the health that you want to have, the vision of who you'd be if you really had your health and your body and your energy where you wanted it to be, it's worth it. I can promise you that. So wherever you are in your journey, I'm freaking rooting for you because wherever you want to go, it is worth it. It's worth it more than you realize. Your life gets exponentially better when you feel like you have your health under control because every single moment of your day to day is better. You're not thinking in the back of your head about what you need to be doing to get in shape. You're not wondering, you're not wishing something would be different. And so for any of you who are on your own journey, keep going. Keep fighting, keep showing up, keep doing the work. And if you need help, come check out Kettlebell Transformation. It is why we exist, is to help guys like you. So with that being said, hope you guys are crushing it this week, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.